Hey guys, Coach Lou Bronstein here, Revitalize Life Fitness and Life Coaching in Longwood. Coming to you today to discuss a little bit about strategic planning. As you recall, over the past few weeks, we've gotten into what is motivation, the power of why, and that is the purpose driving you. Why are you doing something? Why can be the most important portion of motivation that you can come up with, because it's what drives you. We talked about pain and pleasure, how pain can push you towards a destination and pleasure can pull you. Destination, outcome, however you want to put that, goal, those are all interchangeable terms. So, in today's training, I want to get into a little bit about strategic planning. Now, strategic planning could be a whole course in itself and could have many, many facets and subcategories to learn. What I want to do today, though, is touch on the concept of strategic planning to help you learn how to follow through. When you make that all important decision, which is the first step, is making the decision, your second step is the follow up and the follow through. That is very ultra important in the grand scheme of things, is how to actually put it into action. So, what is strategic planning? Strategic planning is properly planning out, mapping out, GPSing out, however you'd like to put that, your course of action to arrive at your destination, your goal, your outcome. With me on this, guys? All right, let's rock. So, first step of strategic planning is to be very clear and specific on your outcome. This is going to require this being in writing. You're going to want to do this in writing. You can type it in on your phone, iPad, computer, handwrite it in a notebook, or do both. I kind of still like the old-fashioned writing it down in a notebook, at least to get started. You can always transpose that into something amazing like OneNote or one of the other, or Trello, or whatever you use for your project software. So I'm all about the technology, but sometimes there's something really good about just getting it initially written down on paper. So here are the four key aspects of your getting clear on your outcome. Number one, it has to be quantifiable. You know, cash outcomes, money outcomes, financial outcomes are usually pretty easy when it comes to this, because you can hone it down to a number. I want 1 million, I want 10 million, I want to make X amount this week, this month, this year. So put that in other areas of life. If it's your health and fitness, maybe you want to have a body fat of under 10%, you want to weigh under 150 pounds. And depending on your frame and build, that may be wow, or it may be, hey, that kind of, I need less than that. But quantify it, get really specific, make sure it's achievable. Okay, I want to lose 50 pounds is great, unless you're a little kid and you weigh 49 pounds. Then that's death. So, achievable is important. Now, this is not an excuse to not go for a big goal and hold yourself back because, oh, that's not very achievable. Almost anything is achievable. But, to tell you you can get on the rebounder and jump up and down and bounce high enough to land on the moon is not happening. To say someday I want to go to the moon and setting up a plan, and there's actually companies that'll take you into space if you have enough money, but you could go to space if you wanted to. You're not going to get there by bouncing on your rebounder on your back porch or in the gym. So these are things that are important to make sure that it's achievable with the assets you have available to go for it. And a lot of things you're going to have to go far over and beyond your assets and your resources to get to, but you're still not going to bounce to the moon on a rebounder unless you strap a rocket to your back. So make sure that it is truly achievable to do. You might want to say, I want to live to be 800 years old. Right now, in the day and age we're at, 100's a pretty good goal, and a lot of people are living past that. But to say in this lifetime you want to make it to 800 years old, that may not be achievable. It may be something to really strive for, and it'll get you well over 100. But again, make sure that that is an achievable mindset. Sustainable. Is it long-term sustainable? You might say, I want to lose 50 pounds and I'm going to go on a starvation diet. And ultimately, you may lose 50 pounds. But if you don't start eating again or you don't change your habits, you're going to gain it all back or you're going to hurt yourself in the process. So is it a sustainable vision and outcome, something that you go, hey, not only can I live with this, but this would make life great. That's the concept of something like this, is making life great. But make sure it's sustainable in the long run, because you don't want to hit a goal and then go right immediately start going backwards just for the sake of hitting the goal. It's about giving you a sustainable, better quality of life, whether that's financial, emotional, or whatever. You with me on this? So I'm not trying to downplay the power of goals. You can achieve just about anything in this world, but making sure that your parameters are set up to win. Grow, yes, but win in the process. You don't want to set something up that you know you cannot absolutely do, something that you feel like you think you're really uncomfortable breaking out to do, or that's a big undertaking and it'd be wow and excite you, but not something that's so out of line that you go, well, that can never happen. We want it to be, I never believed this could happen, but I'm going to make it happen type of goal. You with me? Power of why. Make sure it's compelling. Why are you doing this? Make sure that excites you and makes you run towards it and want it as bad as you want to breathe. That's the kind of power of why you're looking for. So here we are, step 1 of strategic planning. That sounds like a whole big mountain of stuff we're working with there already. Yes, it is. So next up, create a plan. Here's where your work comes in. Coming up with your vision and your outcome is exciting. Now you got to plan it out. Okay, now we're starting to work again here. So what are the components? We got 4 components here also. Number 1 component would be create a timeline of, number 1, when you want to be there. You've got to have a finish point for a goal or an outcome to when you know you've achieved it. Doesn't mean you're done and you never do anything more with that, or you don't grow or continue to come up with a larger goal or outcome, but it does mean you need to have that point. So you need to do that with a timeline. If you say, I want to lose 50 pounds and it takes you 50 years, it's not a real dramatic change. If you want to lose 50 pounds in a year, very doable, and it'll be a major dramatic change when you think 1 year from now I will be lean, mean, on fire, ready to go, or X amount of dollars, or a great relationship, whatever it is. Set the timeline and set the plan. Number 2, list out your resources. Very important. What, who, and how do they interact? You need other people, you need stuff, you need things to occur, and you need to see how that's going to interact. If you come to somebody and say, I got a goal and you're going to help me, they might say, you pal. If you say, hey, I could really use your help on this because you're great at websites, and part of doing this goal, I need some help with a website. Could you help me out? And they may say, yeah, absolutely. Or you may have to go to somebody and say, hey, how much is it to do X, Y, Z? You simply may have to pay for it. It doesn't mean that everything's going to fall in your lap because you make a decision to do this. So also, the next step is have your options. The what if and then. What if X happens then? What if this happens then? It's not always a bad thing. Definitely anticipate your pitfalls, but celebrate your accelerations. Sometimes you do something and it handles 3 steps right in a row because it all fell into place. You don't still have to do those steps. You accelerate past it. That's done. You're past that point. Rock and roll. You may have already hit your outcome. So you with me on that? Anticipate what could stop you up. Have a contingency plan for that portion. You don't go, something stopped me up, so I'm going to do something different. I'm going to just set a different outcome. You say, something stopped me up. How do I work around this? How do I grow from this? What is this enabling me to do? A lot of times the pitfalls turn into your greatest growths. So that's a gift right there. But keep an eye on your acceleration too. If you say in 3 months and I'm on $1 million goal in a year, and in 3 months you've made $500,000, you're ahead of the game. Now accelerate with that. What did you do that got you so far ahead? Do more of it. Make sense? This stuff is really not that difficult, but it is work. It's effort. You're going to put some effort into it. So we're past that. Now, make sure, again, this plan is written, mapped out, Not just a to-do list. To-do lists suck butt. They're not really the greatest thing in the world. You've got to take actions on portions of your projects, your plans, but sometimes you do a few of those big long lists, and you got to have them. You got to know what you need to do. But sometimes you get the outcome, you get to that spot and that goal for that portion. You go, hey, there's 3 things over here that I'm supposed to do, but I don't have to do them because I'm already past that. So don't let that trip you up that you've got to check everything off that you create. If you are on schedule for your major outcome, you sometimes skip over some of the things that don't matter, or you do something and a chain domino effect happens and it takes care of 3 or 4 other things you quote unquote had to do. Does this make sense? Make sure this is all written, mapped out, and make it a map. Get a big piece of paper, draw it on a wall somewhere. Put some graphics, have some fun with this. It doesn't have to be one single page to-do list. Cool? All right, if you need help with that, call me, book with me, let's do a coaching session. I can come up with some templates and all kinds of stuff depending on what you use that can help you through this process. Very fun. This is a very fun part of it. Okay, so number 3, milepost check-ins. All right, this is where you check in. Points where you set specific mini outcomes that are designed to help you get your main progress, your main outcome, your main goal here. So those can be weekly, daily, monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, annually. Which one of those is the best? You're going to say, hey, coach, which is the best here? How often should I do this? I think daily is an important thing to check up on your goals, your progress. But set it up in weekly, monthly chunks so that you can go, I'm here, or hey, crap, I'm behind. I need to step on the accelerator here. Or I'm ahead of the game. This is great. How did I do that? How can I apply this to get more ahead of the game down the road? Or I'm glad I was ahead of the game because something came out that I did not anticipate. Make sure you're anticipating what could happen. It's not saying focus on the worst or what your downfalls could be. Be aware. This could happen, and if so, I got it covered because this is my plan. Simple. Takes a lot of stress out of the process here. Number 4, last step, celebrate your wins. And what do I talk about celebrating your wins? Go out and get drunk? Probably not. Go out and take a vacation, spend every penny you made? Not. Maybe take a small vacation, sensible, that doesn't undo your entire profit on a deal, or you might go and have a nice dinner, or you might, whatever it is, go celebrate it, enjoy it, realize there was a reward because you want that pleasure pull to pull you when you do your next project. Start relating that pleasure. Wow, if I put this effort in, what do I get? Instead of just, oh, if I don't, I'm going to have all this pain pushing me. Don't ever forget, pain can be your best friend there, though. Keep a journal. Please, please, please. You can do it as part of your plan. Keep a journal. What did you learn in the process? What did you achieve? What actually happened? What changed because you did this? What did you learn? How does that serve you in the future? When you put down, hey, I learned not to touch the hot stove, like a kid touches the hot stove a couple of times, they learn, how does that serve you in the future? Well, maybe you become an iron worker and you don't stick your hand in one of the iron vats and take your whole arm off. I don't know, it serves you somehow. There's all a million different options and ways here that this will serve you by what you learn. Most importantly, and could be the most important thing of this whole training, who did you become as a person through the process of all these steps? How did it change you? How did you change you? How did you grow and transform you? You see, my friends, change will happen automatically. If you do nothing, you're going to change in the going backwards direction. There is no staying static. Either you're growing or you're pulling backwards. There is no staying in the same place. It may seem like it temporarily, but if you are not growing, I guarantee you in the ultimate, you are going backwards. So who did you become in the process of this? Some of the pitfalls that knocked you sideways, even those ones you didn't count on. I'm telling you, no matter how much you can anticipate it, there's shit's going to come along and knock you in the side of the head. So how did you grow? Who did you become? How much stronger? Who did you help? Who did you take with you? Who was there for you? Get this appreciation in your heart and soul, and the next time you go into strategic planning for your next level, your next project, you're going to get even more excited. You're going to get better at this. First time I went to the gym, boom, 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 I did some bicep curls. Do I do them with as much weight as I do now? As many reps? No. You're not supposed to. This is about growth. You're growing. But the whole key to it is you don't want to go backwards. I'm not doing less than where I started. I'm doing more. I'm doing it easier, new distinctions, new techniques. We were talking about that today in a quick little staff discussion about, customer experience and, how do we learn from things that have happened before. A negative interaction that cost us a customer, even though we knew we were right, isn't worth great resolution and retaining and making a loyal fan out of that customer simply by adjusting how things are handled. Doesn't matter right, wrong, or indifferent. You can fight for a justice or an injustice, and you can be right and go about it all the wrong way, and you're not going to help the situation, the person, yourself, whatever you're trying to create. Make sense? So strategic planning in a nutshell. Here we go. We're going to review real quick. Make sure you're specific and clear exactly on what you want. Mix that with your power of why you want it. That'll give you your push. Create your plan. All right? Your plan, your timeline, your time frames, your check-in points, your resources, who's there for your resources, what, and how is everything going to interact? How are those resources going to work together to get you to your goal or your outcome? Your options when pitfalls come up, and also your acceleration options when you get ahead of the game. You can skip some of those to-dos occasionally and accelerate past it. And what can you learn about accelerating? How do you learn from the times you go, wow, I slated this to take 2 months and I knocked it out in a week. How can I apply that elsewhere? That becomes yours. It's a piece of you that you learn. Okay? Make sure everything's written and mapped and not just, line by line by line like a to-do list. Make it creative, make it fun, because that's what's going to get it done. Don't forget to do your milepost check-ins. Where are you supposed to be tomorrow, next week, next month, 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years, depending on how big your goal and plan is here. I really love 1 year goals and 6 month goals and 1 month goals because you can celebrate that achievement a lot quicker. And they build up. So the key to it is if you have a 10-year goal for maybe retirement or something, and it's XYZ amount and this property and that, then you break that back down into those sub-goals, those checkpoints, which become mini goals to get there. And, really those are where the real joys are. The big outcome picture oftentimes is the end point. I want to grow it to this, or I want to retire. Dear God, if there's something I can tell you, please don't retire. If maybe you're in a job that you're getting close to retirement, you're going, well, I don't want to do this till I die. That's great, but shift gears, do something else. Start a little business, start a nonprofit if you've made so much money you don't need it. Get into real estate investing, whatever it is, do something. Don't retire, because usually statistics show within a year or so of retirement, most people die if they just sit home staring at a TV. So don't ever give up that drive you got right now. You may be a 30-year-old opening your own business. You may be a 20-year-old, 18-year-old getting your first job. Hopefully you're more like 16 getting your first job and not waiting and dragging butt to get out and start to experience this stuff. Or you might be 75 years old and going, I don't want a job, but I still want to feel useful. So it depends on your stage of life, but don't ever stop dreaming and planning and creating. So make sure you check off your mileposts, set it up to win, sub-goals that get you to the major goal, because the sub-goals are your better wins most of the time. Anyway, celebrate your win. What did you learn? Who'd you become? What do you believe about yourself now? Journal this stuff. Put it down, put it somewhere, get it written down, because let me tell you, that'll out-survive you. When you're gone, your kids, grandkids, family members, loved ones, somebody's going to find this and be inspired by you. It's the whole key to what I'm coming here to do, is inspire you to do better. So today's segment was on strategic planning, how to put that power of why to work for you to get it from a thought, an idea, and a belief and a desire to get it moving. All right, everybody with me on this. If you have questions, reach out to me. You need help, you need to design this. I'm happy to help coach you on it. That would be awesome. That's one of the reasons I do this. I definitely want to gain, you as my client if you're not already. And if not, I want to inspire you to do the best that you can do and be the best you can be. It's Coach Lou saying love to all, live with energy, passion, and by all means, always live your dreams. Hopefully you've seen the live version of this as well as read the post, and we will have another great one for you for next week. Have an awesome day.